my name is Liz Gillis. I'm an historian and I'm an author, specialising in the Irish Revolution 1916 to 1923, but I'm from the Liberties in Dublin.
When you visit the Liberties, you're visiting the real old Dublin.
The whole history of Dublin is based in the Liberties.
There's nowhere like this place on earth. The Liberties is a village, and Meath Street is the living heart of the village.
This is literally where I grew up. The Liberties is in my blood, and I was literally born a stone's throw from where we are now. Gentrification becomes a problem in the Liberties it was after the Celtic Tiger collapse. So the Celtic Tiger, which was this huge phenomenon where we believed or thought that we had all this money and this massive building, an explosion of construction happened from the late 90s up to 2008, and all of a sudden businesses are closing or they've been getting sold off, and people are wondering what's happening.
My name's Michael Norton. Norton's. Greengrocer, third generation. We're in our 75th year this year, and I don't know if it'll be here for my son when he grows up. Times are changing. Food's being delivered by drone these days, so we'll see how long more we can get out of it, you know. Personally, I've been on the street 22 years. When I started on this street, there was 5 greengrocers and about 7 butchers. Now down to 1 greengrocer and 3 butchers. So things have gotten tough for a lot of small businesses.
The Liberties, which was labelled as an area of disadvantage. I grew up with that label all the time, all through my life. Now it's going through this massive period of gentrification, and the price tag has increased hugely, which means that the people who want to keep their roots in the Liberties, who have their roots in the Liberties, are being pushed out.
Every day, every single day, I'll have people coming in asking me, do I know of anywhere that they can rent a house or apartment, or because the supply just isn't there.
There has been a dramatic increase in house prices because the Liberties, as I was just mentioning with the map, is actually very close to the city. It's a good thing and it's a bad thing.
What should be a staple for everybody should be able to afford is fruit and vegetables. At this moment in time, I've never seen prices as high as they are. So what you see opening up now is nail bars and coffee shops, and where years ago it would have been more of your traditional fruit and veg stores and a real market kind of street.
And people come from all over to do their shopping in the Liberties, be it in Meath Street, the Liberty Market. People came from everywhere to go to the Liberty Market, which is still there, but again, it's just not as busy as it used to be. On Thomas Street, like Frawley's, where highlight student accommodation is now, like again, people come from all over the country to go to Frawley's.
Students come from abroad and their parents are very often wealthy and they can afford to buy into the apartments that are coming on stream in the area.
So what we saw happening with gentrification was that the existing community was being ignored, and decisions were being made for a future community that wasn't going to put down roots. There was a closure of very vital community amenities that happened to facilitate either the building of student accommodation or to put in other services like homeless services and so on. There was no interaction with the people, there was no communication with the people.
Fine Gael have built more houses than most previous governments, but there seems to be a lot of just talk, meetings and jargon, and it's action that's needed.
Well, I'm Darragh O'Brien. I'm the Minister with responsibility for housing, local government and heritage, amongst other things. And we want more people living in our cities, and the Liberties is a proper community. It's like a village within the city, and as you rightly say, is one of the most historical parts of Dublin. One of the complaints that residents in the Liberties have had specifically, and this predated me, it was a legacy issue, was the predominance of, let's say, student type accommodation. Look, that's why we're investing heavily in social and affordable housing. This government, myself as Minister, have never invested so much. It's about €5 billion this year. We've some very good schemes.
They're knocking down all these buildings and they're replacing them just with glass. Just soulless buildings, you know? And then a city loses its identity that way, because if you have everything the same, what makes it unique? What makes a city unique? You know? So that's what we have with the Liberties. The people are still here, the community is still here, despite the efforts of some, it seems.
Who are you referencing when you say so?
I would be the people who make decisions for the city.
It's a very sought after area, so you've seen house prices when homes are come up for sale being out of the reach of a lot of people. We've got to make sure, and I've got to do my level best to try to help people who are from the area as best as possible, that they'll have opportunities to stay.
The changes that have been made to the Liberties, there hasn't been a lot of interaction with the community. There hasn't been a lot of, conversations between the community, asking the community what they would like. They certainly don't tell you they're going to take away the stuff. That's it. They just do it. And you're meant to accept that. That's wrong.
I could use one example of the Ivy Markets in the Liberties too, where we've put significant funding just very recently, about €9 million I've granted to rejuvenate that, what was a wonderful building there.
Like, imagine if we had it back. And it's so big, you could do so many things with it. Like have the market space, but then have, an event space.
Well, like, otherwise what are they going to do with it? Leave it there for another 20 years?
Yeah. This is the iconic Ivy Market, and as you can see, it's just all boarded up. But this would have been once a thriving part of the Liberties. This was going to be redeveloped, great plans that you'd have, a reinvigorated market, and then it never happened. Is this the work starting? Oh my God. Hiya.
You guys starting work on it? Yeah.
Is it? Oh, good.
Thank you.
Well, they might be starting work on it.
So it's starting to actually make a difference. A lot of people are starting to feel that now. There's a lot more to do in that space because there's been a pent-up demand for a decade that effectively, I believe, that was in real terms lost. We've had a big focus on trying to drive development in our cities, and that's something that is actually happening now, but needs to accelerate.
I do miss the Liberties, I have to say. Even though I've only moved like a 10-minute walk from here, it's not the Liberties. Just saying hello to people, having a chat. I suppose I really, really got to know the value of the people in the Liberties. Hey Margaret, how's it going? How's James? Tell him I said hello, will you? Tell him I said hello. Hey Michael, how are you going? How are you doing? You alright?
People have lost the art of conversation. And even there, like stopping, like even talking to yourself there today, Liz, like you've brought sunshine to my day because I was preoccupied with, say, go here, go there. See, the secret of life is this, that poverty will always hide itself, but say arrogance will always display itself.
So you can see the change, and change isn't necessarily a bad thing, it can be a good thing. But we'll wonder if we'll still be around here in another 20 years, you know?
Is there anything else you want want to talk about or cover?
Don't think so. Do you think we've got everything?
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. That's all my questions.
Hashtag love the Liberties.
Hashtag love the Liberties.
It's 2 stars, Michael.
Sunglasses now.
How are you going?
I'm good as well.
Busy?
Forward to Easter, you know.
Fantastic. That's
Is that okay?
all the questions I have for you.
Brilliant.
I'd love if I have just like an extra minute or two to
Yeah.
get a shot of you walking down the hall.
The demographic of most of the antique shop owners is, to be polite about it, pretty much nearly all north of 60, and some of them much older. And there's not too much. There's a couple coming in, but not too much new. I think we've still got a couple of decades in it.
Good to see you, John, in the Liberties. I'm sorry I missed you earlier on to have a chat with you, but you're in God's own country. There's nowhere like this place on earth. The Liberties is a village, and Meath Street is the living heart of the village.
I'm going to go biblical on you now. And it's this: many are called and few are chosen, and you are one of the chosen ones.
Would you go away? You'll have me crying in a minute.
That's all
Go
right.
away.